1.
Boom.
And here comes the start. Oh, wait, hang on. Rescan audio devices.
See, Facebook.
Scarlett.
We still got to wait
Scarlett.
sometimes.
It's all good. It gives people more time to join in.
Yep.
All right, so I will be monitoring the Facebook live feed. So if you have any Q&A for us, if you want to give a shout out to Eddie over here, or
Ask
if you
me
just
some
want to, give us a hard time, heckle us.
Heckle us. We're here for the heckling.
We're here for the heckling. All right. We are going live for the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business
Damn, that all went bad.
Oh.
Well, see, this is a new Mac.
Oh, we're working on a new
hold on a
Mac,
second.
so
This is a new Mac, so let's see. How do we do Control Delete? All right, that should do it. So
okay, we'll try it again.
It was like I clicked it and then it goes please allow access to the microphone. I was like, come on.
Oops.
Man. All right, we'll
All
try
right,
this again.
okay.
We're going
Let's do it
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Okay,
There
now
we go.
that
That
one
was
without
good.
a
That was
we got
solid.
that one.
I like that one.
Went off without a
That was
hitch.
good.
It went off without a hitch.
Solid.
And it's funny because if anybody's live, they're doing the same thing. And I know you did. I saw you. I know you did. You went Business Bros.
Contagious.
It is. All right. So welcome to the program, Eddie Briseno.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
What's going on, Eddie?
Hey, dude.
It's doing good. Great.
Thanks for taking the time to come out to the Business Bros podcast studio.
Thank you guys for having me.
And I got to admit, because I always drop this in here when everybody comes over. I mean, I give you the address. It's in National City. And I know people are thinking, National City? What's going on there?
Yeah, I was
A little skeptical, right?
curious.
Curious.
I was
Curious.
curious.
Yeah.
Then I pulled up and I was not curious anymore.
It was so for those of you agents who are out there nervous about coming to National City for the podcast, it's a beautiful view. I promise
And a
you.
beautiful house too.
Yeah, I
Beautiful
promise you, it's a cool spot.
Yeah.
So you'll be captivated. And if you happen to schedule a 6 o'clock instead of like a 4 or 5 o'clock, you might get the sunset. You'll see downtown all beautiful and lights. Unless it's foggy, I can't stop that. I can't block that one. Sorry.
No, great view though. Great view from here.
Awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Awesome. All
We're
right.
trying to stop the rain,
Yeah, we're trying to stop the rain, but we can't do everything.
Actually, I'm really not trying to stop the rain. The only thing that's hard about the rain, I ride a motorcycle. It's my only means of transportation. So when it's raining, I stay home a lot.
Uber it.
And
You Uber it.
I could, but
Why?
why? I can work from home.
So what about you,
True,
Eddie?
true.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So my background, I did 12 years in the Marine Corps. And then
Thank you for your service.
You're
8 years
welcome.
Navy myself.
Oh, there you go. There you
Awesome.
go. There you go.
Veteran.
So I appreciate all the support, of course.
Veteran to veteran.
So I did 12 years in the Marine Corps. I did a little bit of everything there. Combat deployments. I did recruiting. I was bored out of my mind in Okinawa for a period of time. So I did everything. I got medically discharged from the Marine Corps, which is how I kind of turned to real estate. I did a little bit of everything before going on to real estate. I did my passion has always been sales, and everyone thinks sales is kind of like a sneaky or slimy way, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, they
Everyone
have
has
that
that
stereotype.
misconception of the sales guy. But for me, I got into sales because I did recruiting, and in El Centro, recruiting for the Marine Corps was tough because there wasn't that many qualified individuals, so you needed to be a good sales guy and provide value. And that's what I think, sales is, providing value to your customer. And as long as you're being forthright and honest, you should be good. But that kind of got me into thinking, out of the Marine Corps, what am I going to do? I want to do something in the sales. So I looked into selling cars, insurance, you name it, but really nothing really caught my attention like real estate did. And it wasn't until I got into real estate that I really started to develop a passion, because I saw such a great purpose for it. And it wasn't just, I need a place to live, let me buy a house. It was the family wealth that you add to, and really changing the trajectory of your financial means by the purchase of one house. You can
absolutely.
impact 2 generations after you just by buying one house. So
You're setting the foundation early.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. And that's really where most people's family wealth comes from, is someone along the lines back in the day bought a house and now it's worth a lot of money. And
Right.
that's really where it comes from. And a lot of, ethnic backgrounds, Hispanics, blacks, and, maybe immigrants and stuff like that who don't have that foundation, maybe sometimes don't see the purpose of owning a home. I know, especially for Hispanics, you know, I grew up, you know, renting my whole life, you know, so it's like no one really taught me the value of how important it was to sell, you know, to buy a house and stuff. So once I got into real estate, I really saw that other side. It wasn't just, hey, you know, and trying to sell your home or trying to buy, you know, help you buy a home. It's about providing value for you so that you can know the importance of what it is to be a homeowner.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, I agree with you. Culturally, it's tough, right? Not everybody is brought up the same way, whether culturally or even affluently, right? As far as revenue, I mean, I've talked to a lot of agents, and we always say the same thing when it comes to Mexicans. When you have a solid job with benefits, like, you made it. That's it. Like, that's where the bar is set. But, you know, you being able to go out and talk to them and be like, no, that's just the starting point. Like, here's the next level. And not just for you. I mean, yeah, it's great for you, but what about your kids?
What about your grandkids?
What about your grandkids, right? That next level, that next level thinking is something that it's not that they don't know, it's that nobody's ever taught them. Right? It's not that they're not capable, it's just nobody showed them the way.
Right.
And you're opening the door by saying, hey, look, here's an opportunity. Let me show you how. Right. You've been in the military, or you have a stability in your job, or here's your option right now is not just rent. You know, owning a home is more than just, you know, a natural born American dream. You can have it too.
Right. And I think people get intimidated by it. I know, especially for our culture, we always think it's impossible. Like, buying a house has to be close to, you know, figuring out, you know, how to solve world hunger. You know what I mean? It's like, in reality, it's not that hard. It's really easy, especially if you're a veteran. Like, one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was in the Marine Corps was not purchasing a house.
While you were in the Marine Corps.
While I was in. It's insane how you have that right there at your grasp, and you still choose not to explore that option for whatever the reason, whether you're only going to be stationed there for a little bit or whatever. There's no excuse.
Right.
But the excuse is, or maybe the reasoning is, we don't want to give up those little luxuries in order to pay the mortgage, in order to invest in the mortgage. But that's the thing, is people think they know the definition of investment, but they really don't. No. You know, you have to be able to sacrifice and invest into something so that later on you can cash in and really reap the benefits of what you've been investing in.
Yeah, and it comes to a long-term game, right? I mean, I like how you said they don't know the definition of an investment. I mean, I always was a fan of the Kiyosaki version of defining, you know, how do you buy things to help you accumulate wealth. And it was, you know, it's simple. You buy assets and you stay away from, or you minimize liabilities, right? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. And even though Kiyosaki would define your first home as a liability because it's still money coming out of your pocket, it's the foundation point. It's the starting point. I mean, and I like the fact that if you really think about it, you're sticking to the same fixed monthly payment every single month. Right? For the next 30 years, right? So for the next 360 months, you know exactly what your mortgage is going to be. And as long as you pay it for the next 360 months, then you're going to be done, right? No more rent at that point. 30 years, you've put 30 years at a job, you have a nice either pension or a retirement account that you're working on. Why aren't you doing the same thing at home? Why aren't you putting something aside for yourself in something that's going to accumulate in value over time? And at the same time, you have your retirement pension, you have a home paid off. That's like the simplest equation for you to hit that retirement figure and actually enjoy retirement. Right. Because, I mean, people struggle with that. And, you know, they don't think about it until they're, 40, 50 years old.
That's what it is. They don't think about it.
Yeah. And by that time is gone, right?
Yeah. I mean, everyone thinks they have all this time. And then at the end, it's like, holy crap, you know.
Crunch time.
It's crunch time. You know, for the military, a lot of the guys, they don't want to purchase until towards the end of their career. And it's like, man, you could have retired off of your first enlistment as long as you would have bought a $300,000 home that may not have been the greatest. But now that $300,000 investment turns into an $800,000 property 8 years down the road.
Dude, and think about it. Okay, so let's say you got a 20-year-old kid in the military, right? If you can convince this kid, look, the best way for you to do this is to buy a home. Use your VA loan. Yes. You know, I can't afford the money. I don't want to, I don't want to afford all the whole mortgage by myself. That's cool, dude, because you got a bunch of guys that want to get out of the barracks, right? That need a place to rent. You got rooms. Get a 3-bedroom, get a 4-bedroom. Now your rent's going to be covered by the guys that are here all the time with you anyways. And then when you leave, you can sell it or you can rent it. But you're accumulating that asset. You're building yourself something ahead of time. It's just much more valuable if you start it early.
But it's the responsibility too. Is these guys don't want it, you know, and that's the unfortunate part. My brother, he's joining the Marine Corps as well, and I told him already, you're gonna buy a house as soon as you're eligible. I don't care if you don't live in it. You're buying a house.
That's funny, dude. It reminds me of the podcast. Like I told him, hey, we're doing a podcast every day, and sorry, but you're doing it.
Like I know what's good for you.
I know what's good for you, dude. You're doing this, okay?
It's pretty much exactly how it works. Yeah. I was showing up here every day whether I liked it or not.
And now you love it.
Yeah, now
I do. Now,
see?
honestly, I don't know if you've listened for a while, but this honestly was a game changer for me. It made a huge difference in my entire outlook of life and business and relationships. I have like this whole new motivation nowadays. It's
awesome,
actually
bro.
really
It's
awesome.
passion. It's passion. You found
It is,
passion for
absolutely.
It. It's cool.
But listeners, you hear that? Facebook, you hear that? If you just do it, it's changing, right? And that's what you're trying to tell your brother here. Look, you might not see it right now, but let me tell you that I know, I can guarantee you that it's the right step for you.
It's the right step.
It's what's going to change your life. You're going to get out and be 10 steps ahead of everybody who's getting out at the same time. Whether you're medically discharged or you do your full 20 or you only go 8. Yeah. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You're still ahead of the game. You're taking advantage of the situation that's ahead of you.
And I think the crippling part, especially for military guys, is that me being in there and speaking for myself and, you know, speaking for a lot of other veterans, I know he probably can attest to this, but you get put in a situation where most of these guys are coming from some kind of poverty, whether it's the middle of Podunk, Iowa, or they're in the hood of Compton or something like that.
That's where the recruitment rate is really high.
Of course, you know, most people, they need jobs, and that's where they're going to get the jobs. They're going to go join the military. Great.
It's the first time they got cash in their pocket.
Exactly. And they don't know how to manage it. So now they got enough cash to do something with it, but they have not enough cash to live great of unless you put it to work.
And so they have for the first thing, the car.
Exactly. So the first thing priority is you got to get a new car. You got to get the new clothes. You got to get all this stuff. And in order and they're prioritizing and putting that into a property that could later on set them up for retirement, and they would no longer need the military. You know, instead, if they misuse that, then they still have to leech on the military until they figure out a better route and they're able to get out of the military.
Yeah, most of them don't figure out a better route.
And then they're 20 years later, or maybe for whatever reason, like for example, me, I got medically discharged, so that means I got taken out without me being ready, and it puts me in a bad situation. But if I would have had that cushion, it would have really put me in a different scenario.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But like I said, it's something that I have learned, and now I harp on that, especially for military guys, because it's like, dude, you guys are right there. Let me show you how to do this thing.
Hey, dude, it's kind of tough though, man, because I don't know if you know this. I teach high school in the morning, right?
Oh, it's cool.
So I teach a course called Financial Algebra, and it's all the life money skills. So, like, for example, we just started the section on taxes because it's tax season, right? Last semester we did like how to buy a car, you know, compound interest, simple interest. We did how to buy a home, rent a home, all these different life skills that we want to you know, make sure that they know when they're gonna graduate. Problem is they're 17. Like, I'm giving them stuff, like, I don't know if they realize it, but it's gold that they're getting, right, in class, but, and it'll help them not even 20, 30 years down the road. It'll help them in the next 4 years, right? I mean, they're skills that you need, but it's not important to them right now. And I think that's kind of the trouble that you're going through right now. You hit this 20-year-old kid and you're like, dude, when you're 25, when you're 30, you're going to be grateful that you made this choice, but they can't see that far ahead. All they can see is, you know, well, what am I?
The payment.
Yeah, what am I going to drive to the club?
Like the monthly payment.
Yeah, the monthly payment.
I can't do that because then I can't go out every weekend, or I can't buy the new Jordans, or whatever it is. But it's like, it's insane because we were trained to think that this is valuable, but it's not. You know, as soon as you buy these things, they lose their value. There's nothing left in them, you know? And I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I've never been through that, because that's the reason I'm telling you. Yeah. Because I was that guy that was spending all his paycheck on this crap, you know?
Now you're the old guy.
But I'm the old creepy dude that's like, hey, man, you know?
Shape up, right? Exactly, shape up. Come on, you don't want to make the same mistakes I made, right?
Exactly.
I was going to say, like, you don't know how many fresh booters we saw that went out to the first car dealership they could and bought a brand new Dodge Charger.
Or a Charger.
Yeah.
Mustang or a Charger.
Mustang and Charger.
Something with balls, right?
Yeah.
No. It's usually a V6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
They
got
get
pretend balls.
On a 25% interest rate or something like that.
Because they don't know they don't know any better, right?
Exactly. Because they didn't pay attention to the life algebra stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a little time.
Man, that's tough, man. I wish, you know, It's almost like we talk about that all the time about, when we talk to agents about prospecting or doing more of the things that they don't want to do today, the things that make them uncomfortable, because future you is going to be grateful to past you
Right.
if you make these choices ahead of time, right? If you take in what everybody else has done, if you what's the other saying we say all the time, Ham? Smart people learn from their mistakes. Geniuses learn from the experiences of others.
Right.
And that's kind of what we, how do you get that across to a kid? Like, I'm giving you genius skills right here, dude.
Right.
Like, I already fell in that hole. You don't have to fall in the same hole to make a difference, right? You don't have to do that. Let's take a different step.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit about the VA program.
As far as the VA loan and stuff like that.
Yeah, just in general, not too specific.
Well, the thing about it is, it's the best loan out there, period, for anyone, and it's a very specific spot to be in if you're able to use it, and it's something that I think, like I said, not a lot of people are taking advantage of that. And what people don't understand is that the rent's still going to keep on going up. And what people are doing is, I have a couple of clients that are on the fence, and they are qualified to buy. They could buy right now, but that payment is in their face. And these are VA clients. So now keep that in mind. And for viewers that don't know, the VA usually typically holds a lower rate. So their payments are going to be cheaper than someone with an FHA that has to pay, the mortgage insurance and stuff like that. So, I mean, you're already getting a discounted mortgage, but still is not good enough, and it goes back to not seeing the purpose of the investment on a monthly basis versus you paying $1,800 for a 1-bedroom shack and trying to save that $600, $700 that you're not really going to invest anyway.
Yeah.
Because that money that you think you're
it.
saving, you're really going to be wasting and putting into something else that's not going to bring you value.
You're losing the power of compound interest over time, right?
Exactly.
You're not taking the appreciation. I mean, even if we have a downward market over the long haul, you're still going to appreciate.
No, it doesn't matter. Like what I tell the guys, it doesn't matter what the rate is. If you're in a position to buy. Period. You can always refi. You can always get to a better spot, but you're never going to get that money that you're paying into rent every single month. Yeah. So think about it like this: 100% of whatever money you put into a rent goes down the drain.
Yeah.
Even if you're only putting 70% of whatever money you're putting on a mortgage towards the principal, it's still better.
It's still
than
better.
100% going down the drain.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people aren't seeing.
Yeah, and rental prices are only going up.
Only going up.
Right? I mean,
it's not gonna stop.
No. Last downward market we had in 2008, rental prices just continued to increase anyways, right? We had a downward spiral in home ownership. People had to get out, but it flooded the rental market.
Yeah.
And right now you're not seeing, for rent signs going up everywhere. It's still short. We're still short rental properties.
Well, there's so many people.
That's the problem, right? So you never hear a landlord say, "Hey, by the way, the market's changing. I'm going to lower your rent." That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. So you have to understand what's beneficial for you in the long run. Yeah, you might be paying $500, $600, $700 more a month right now, but in 5, 6, 7 years, you're going to be on par. It's going to be the same. And if you continue to rent, yeah, you have the flexibility of moving places, whatever. That's fine, but now you're paying that extra $600, $700 a month that you didn't want to pay back then, and you're throwing it away.
And I mean, the power that you have as a homeowner too. Let's say for whatever reason you can't pay the mortgage, just sell it.
Yeah.
Just sell it.
Get out.
Why would you have to foreclose? It's like you know your situation. You know that, what, things happen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay this thing. Let's just sell this thing and downsize to something less.
Yeah.
And you still are keeping property. You're still investing, and you're in a good position. You don't have to worry about going to the whole foreclosure process.
And for the most part,
somebody commented, Casey Knowles commented on the Facebook, something that was said in one of the past episodes. The interest rate on renting is 100%.
It's true. The interest rate on renting is 100%. You lose.
Yes.
It's a losing situation. Okay, there are people who are renting, and it is a good situation for them. They're
if you're a landlord.
If you're yeah, it's true. But I mean, I don't want to knock some people who are renting, who are in a good situation. Maybe you're renting from mom and dad, and it's a property that's going to come to you later. You're renting from family, and it's a property that's going to move over, and you're getting a discounted rate. Maybe you're only paying a low cost. I can see why that would make a difference.
If you can truly afford to rent. Like, for example, I have a friend of mine that has, I think, 2 properties and lives in neither of them. he has a spot in downtown because he doesn't want to live where he bought, because he just wants to be in the middle of everything downtown. That's kind of his crowd or whatever.
Yeah.
But he can afford that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he can afford to have the extremely high rent and get his mortgages paid by the renters and stuff like that. But it's like not many people are in that position to do that.
You're right.
You know, so it's like you got to cut your losses, but people don't want to do that.
Yeah, I got a buddy, kind of similar situation. He bought, I think it was in 2011, I want to say 2011, 2012. He bought a triplex in San Isidro, and he lives in the smallest unit of the triplex and rents out the other two, and he has no mortgage. The rent pays for his home mortgage. And he just, teaches, has a salary. He's good to go. And, he's thinking about, maybe I'll buy another one. Just put money away. And I'm looking into getting something else. But that's the situation. You give yourself options. Yeah. Right? You give yourself options. You don't have to live in it. You could rent it. Depending on where you buy, the market is going to adjust. You can ask for higher rates as a home versus in an apartment, right? So there's so many good things that a buyer takes advantage of. I used to say the taxes, but tax laws changed.
Yeah, right.
So it's not necessarily the case anymore. But even then, tax laws are only in effect for the next, I think 7 years. So after that, things could change and things could go back if it doesn't work out. You never know. So, and that mortgage interest deduction, it's not like it went away. It's just covered by a standard deduction. So anyways, I don't want to get talking too complicated tax stuff. It's tax season. My mind's going over there, but it doesn't matter. The opportunity is there. The good agent is going to present the opportunity. Is going to educate the client and show them like, look, I'm not saying that renting is bad. I'm just going to show you what the plus side of being an owner is.
Right.
Here's what it costs. Here's your benefits. Which one would you choose?
You got to weigh out your options.
You got to weigh out your options.
Only you know your situation. Only you know what you can afford and everything like that. But to look at the numbers and weigh the options out, that's the best thing you could do. And to come in, especially because there's a lot of people that think they don't qualify, and in fact they do. There's so many great programs now, like the CalHAFA, and there's another one too, the Chenoa Fund, something like that. It's another down payment assistance program for people that aren't military. So it's going to help these other groups of people qualify for something that traditionally they wouldn't qualify for. But because you need to go in there and say, hey, what can I do with this? And maybe not a lot of people know about it, but like I said, if you contact the right realtor or the right lender, they can help you direct you into the right direction and have you into a home and stuff like that. I get a lot of questions on Instagram regarding the down payment assistance program and how it works and stuff. And to be honest with you, not a lot of people know, and I work with a great lender that does know these programs, and I'm able to refer them to him and let him know. But in reality, a lot of people are stuck and they can't afford, they can't afford to buy. It's just, they don't have the right information in front of them to make that decision.
Right. Right. And I love some of these down payment assistance programs. I mean, it always has both sides of it, but as far as getting someone into a home, it's nice. I mean, here's the thing about even the market that we're entering, along with the buyer, what the lenders allow, right? With these, down payment assistance, you can also get credits from sellers. Right. I mean, the market's changing, so you can request things, to help with the closing costs, really minimizing the amount of money that you need to come out of pocket to get into a deal, especially in a market like San Diego where prices are up there. Right. But I mean, you want to stay here, right? You want to stay here for the long term, right? Yeah. You want to remain here, not like the Chargers who left, right? But you want to stay here. Right? Ouch. You want to stay here for the long term, and you can really see San Diego heading towards a price point like San Francisco, where things are just going to get astronomically expensive. And, where you're living is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller for those high prices. Right. So you really need to consider, do I want to stay here? And if I do want to stay here, what's it going to look like for me in 5 years? What's it going to look like for me in 10 years? And really, really, really weigh that option, especially with everything that's there, every opportunity that's in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if the down payment assistance programs are not for everybody, and there's ups and downs to them, but if that's the only way that you can afford or can get into a property, then I say do it. Yeah. They're there to help you out, and you're not ever going to be in another country where they're going to help you get a house. Yes. So it's like you have to take advantage of this stuff if you do qualify for that.
I would even go so far as to say, if you're younger, single, you can meet up with with other, some of your friends that might be interested in buying a property,
Yes.
and get into it's essentially a partnership at that point,
An investment,
right?
yeah.
It's an investment.
Yeah.
You guys need a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You guys need a place to call your own. Why not, instead of renting, why not buy something together? You can get together with multiple people who are income earners to qualify for this thing. And then, later down the road, you can have buyout options. You can sell it. You can do whatever you want later down the road. But in the meantime, use that money that you're paying, that you're going to blow in rent anyways, just partner up with somebody.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be just, husband and wife situation.
No, yeah, it can be up to 3 people on these loans, so, and you can combine the incomes in order for them as a party to qualify for these loans. So that's why it's great to have these partnerships. If somebody may not be able to qualify by themselves because they earn maybe 30, 35, 40K, they can partner up with someone else who's also earning the same. And now they're able to qualify for a house.
Right. And now, exactly. It's just being creative and figuring out your options, right? Being creative. I mean, I always talk about how when James and I bought our first home, we were 19, 20 years old, didn't know anything about it. All we did was follow the directions. Somebody who knew said, do this, grab this, put this paperwork together, come sign here.
Put this roof on the house.
Put the roof on the house. Yeah. Fix up those chip paint things, right? All this before this date. And we just did. Right. And you do as you're told.
Yep.
And you take the advice of a professional who's in the market, who's in there trying to help you get the home, and you make it happen.
Right.
But you actually have to make it happen.
Yeah, you have to want it for yourself.
You have to want it for yourself. If you're not out there trying to be, proactive for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. We can guide you, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Exactly.
And ultimately, that's what it's going to come down to. I really do hope that you're able to reach more and more of these younger military guys.
Yeah,
and set them up, man.
No, and they have. It's great response. Like I said, I get most of my business from Instagram or Facebook, some kind of social media. And these guys are responding. They're asking questions and everything like that. So I'm glad that, the videos that I do are reaching that audience, because now I see a lot of these kids that have asked me even how to get into real estate and stuff like that. But they're starting to show interest,
Yes.
And me, when I was that age, I didn't show it, because no one showed me about it,
yeah.
But now that, everything is out there, information is out there, I think it's easier for these guys to be like, okay, I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just crazy. It's just how many people get interacting with, as far as real estate and, questions they're asking, hey, what's it look like as far as 5 years and stuff. I mean, they ask some really great questions. I can't answer all of them and stuff like that because I'm not a mind reader. But the fact that they're engaging and they're asking questions, I'm like, okay, and there's a couple of guys that are waiting to get orders back here so they can purchase.
Right.
So it's good to hear that they do have some plans in the future to buy.
Oh, definitely. And by the way, you don't have to know the answer to everything.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
So
most of the time, I don't, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about is learning.
For real estate agents out there, it's okay to say, you know what?
Right.
That's a great question. Let me get back to you on that one.
Right.
It's okay
instead of lying.
Instead of coming up with some BS answer, right?
Correct.
When you're BSing, everybody knows you're BSing.
Everyone knows, yeah.
Everybody knows. Just, that's an excellent question. You know what? Let me research that. I want to know the answer to that.
Yeah.
You're just genuinely curious.
And you get better as an agent too.
Oh, yeah. Every time you have one of those answers, you learn something.
Yeah.
Right? And then every time you learn something, you're making yourself just that much better. No, for sure.
Right.
How are we doing in time-wise?
28.
Oh, that's what I figured. I got like a biological thing now.
He
I
does
know
really
what's
well
up.
now, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So, since we're rounding the time block here, I'm gonna give you the floor. Go ahead and talk to Facebook out there, talk to YouTube out there, talk to the digital world. Tell them how to get a hold of you. Whatever you want to tell them.
Absolutely. So, these guys are great. I'm so happy to come on the show. I've always wanted to be on a podcast and stuff, so I'm really excited. So, if you guys want to get a hold of me or contact me, questions, anything like that, my Facebook is my name, Eddie Briseno. You can just Google me and I'll pop right up. Or if you want to go on Instagram at Briseno Realty, follow me, tag me, comments, good or bad. If you want to make fun of me, that's cool too. It doesn't matter. Just come on and give me some feedback and stuff. That way, if you want to learn about certain programs or more about the VA and stuff like that, contact me. It's never something that's going to, you have to buy a house and stuff like that. I'm a guy that believes in information. So as long as I keep on pumping out that information, whenever you feel like it's time to sit down and go over a strategized plan, I'll be there in your corner, and we'll get the thing going and get you into being a homeowner.
It's funny. I used to say there's no such thing as a dumb question. That's not true. There is, but we're open to. But we're open to hear that question anyways.
Yes,
that's the point, right? We're open to hear that question because I love questions.
I will answer dumb questions.
I will. And I might not. I might sometimes have a dumb answer. By the way, just throwing it out there, right? I might not always have the best answer, but I'll try. Right, I'll figure it out. I'll Google that for you.
There you go. Let me Google that for you.
Right, let me Google that for you.
Shout out to Sean on that one.
Yep. All right. So, lastly, who do you think would be a good guest for the podcast?
I'm gonna nominate my fearless leader, Victoria Sandoval.
So, nice.
All right, Victoria Sandoval.
You've been tagged.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll add her.
Sweet.
There you go.
All right, cool. Anything else last minute?
Nope. You got your Instagram
Sweet.
right down there. You can
Yep.
point that at the bottom of the screen.
It's right there.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, thank you for joining us on
Thank you
today's
guys.
podcast.
Appreciate it.
Very much. We love you guys, and thanks for the support. If you guys ever have any questions, Hernan at csfirst.com, James at csfirst.com for any of your insurance needs. You can follow us on our social media feeds at Business Bros Pod. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Later.
And I'm out. And that's it. Fun deal.
That was good.
Uno.
It gets hot, doesn't it?
Stop that
Yeah, it gets a little warm sometimes.
It gets a little warm.
And